In the savannah, life never arrives wrapped in mercy. Even from its first breath, a newborn calf is thrust into the ancient and relentless laws of nature. Under the burning African sky, where the silence seems to guard ancestral secrets, a somber question arises. Which wild creature will be able to escape the destiny written by the savannah? The new generation of giraffes begins its journey through almost sacred trials, even before birth. The continuity of the lineage depends on the strength of giants. The males, which can exceed 1,500 kilograms, raise their long necks like living weapons. Each blow carries brutal energy, capable of deeply wounding an adversary and deciding who will have the right to pass on their heritage. After 15 months of gestation, the calf enters the world abruptly, falling from a height of nearly 2 meters. That impact, harsh yet necessary, awakens its lungs and announces the start of its struggle. In barely 30 minutes, the small giraffe attempts to stand on trembling legs. It supports nearly 60 kilograms against gravity, while its body reveals extraordinary engineering. A small but vigorous heart pumps blood up to the brain with a pressure far superior to that of a human. There, the invisible greatness of creation is revealed. The power of the Creator transformed the fragility of a newborn into a promise of survival against the impossible. It is the beginning of one of nature's most amazing stories. Welcome to Maternal Instinct, the brutal battle to overcome the fear of predators. Please give us a like and subscribe to the channel to motivate us to keep creating high-quality content. Don't forget to leave a comment below telling us what you thought of the video and where you're watching from, so we can chat and connect with you. Let's get started. Contrary to what movies depict, hyenas are not simple, opportunistic shadows. They are active, resilient, and organized hunters, with up to 95% of their meals obtained through direct capture. Their success rate can reach 74%, superior to that of many other carnivores. Behind their unsettling appearance lies a biological machine molded for the chase. This species possesses a powerful heart, capable of sustaining runs of nearly 60 kilometers per hour. In the darkness or under the suffocating heat, hyenas advance in groups, guided by extraordinary social intelligence. The deepest secret of this clan lies in its matriarchal order. Among hyenas, it is the females who dominate, controlling access to food and protecting the territory. The queen of the clan rules with strength, memory, and implacable discipline. This structure makes the hyena one of the most complex societies in the savannah. From birth, the hierarchy already begins within the den. The cubs are born with their eyes open and are prepared to dispute space, warmth, and food. The milk of the mother hyena is rich in fat and protein, essential for rapid growth. Because of this, every access to the teats is transformed into a struggle for survival. The strongest push and dominate their weaker siblings to ensure more food. In some litters, this competition decides who will manage to survive the first weeks of life. Thus, the law of the clan is born even before the first hunt. Every drop of milk can define strength, position, and future. Even so, this hardness is an ancient mechanism in which the female lineage keeps the group united. The females protect the clan against hunger, rivals, and the African night. But the mother giraffe is not defenseless. From nearly 5 meters high, her attentive eyes watch every suspicious movement. Her 800-kilogram body turns every stomp into a devastating weapon. She is capable of warding off even the most persistent predators. Even if it manages to escape today, the giraffe calf is still not safe. The plains hold invisible dangers. When the heat numbs the senses of the savannah, the lions begin to move in silence. The fate of the calf once again rests in the hands of nature. The lion concentrates nearly 130 kilograms of force, sharp teeth and claws of almost 4 centimeters in its body. Before it stands a living structure nearly 5 meters tall, the giraffe, a tower of muscle and instinct. When the attack begins, the savannah holds its breath. The lionesses advance in silence, trying to exploit any error or any second of doubt. The muscular system of the giraffe's thighs accumulates devastating kinetic energy. A single well-placed kick can break the group's formation and turn the hunt into a retreat. Faced with the powerful will to survive of the mother giraffe, the pride disperses. The failure of this attack reveals an ancient truth. The strongest does not always win, but rather the one who knows how to resist. If you were a giraffe surrounded by the savannah, would you choose to face the lion or the hyena? Leave your choice in the comments. While one prey escapes, others appear on the horizon. The lion cubs remain hungry, waiting for the lionesses to return with food. As if the earth itself were responding to the call of survival. The greatest migration arises on the plains of East Africa. The Great Migration looks like a colossal military operation. More than 1.5 million wildebeests advance like living legions, crossing dry zones in search of new pastures. Their movement is an ancestral strategy known as predator saturation. By gathering an immense number of individuals, the wildebeests overcome the hunter's capacity to capture all available prey. In just a few weeks, hundreds of thousands of calves are born almost at the same time. This increases the survival chances of the species. For the lions, however, this crowd is also a banquet spread across the plain. The slowest injured or separated wildebeests become immediate targets. Another chapter in the eternal war between hunger and life begins. Like the giraffe, The wildebeest is not a fragile prey surrendered to fate. At nearly 250 kilograms, it carries endurance, vigilance, and a strength that grows when joining the group. When danger approaches, the herd reacts as if it were a single living organism. Swarm intelligence propagates alert signals in a few seconds through the dust. A look or a change in the pace of the run is transformed into a silent message. Muscles contract and curved horns are oriented outward. The crowd begins to close in, forming a living wall of flesh and hooves. In the center of that fortress, the wildebeest calf finds refuge protected by the family. Faced with thousands of firm legs and horns pointing toward them, even the lions hesitate. Hunger continues, but the risk becomes too high for the predators. The hunt loses momentum, and in the eyes of the predators appears the bitter shadow of failure. In the savannah, unity is not just an advantage, but a sacred law. When the collective moves as a single soul, even the most feared hunters are forced to retreat. The strength of the group is nature's most powerful shield. Not far from there, the cheetah, the most perfect speed machine of creation, appears as a golden shadow over the plain. Its body seems to have been designed for a single purpose: to transform instinct into acceleration and hunger into pursuit. Like a biological supercar, it combines explosive musculature, a flexible spine, and claws that function as anchors. In just 3 seconds, it can reach nearly 112 kilometers per hour. Every fiber of its body exists to run. Its heart accelerates like an engine pushed to the limit, exceeding 250 beats per minute. But that speed exacts a cruel price, because the cheetah sacrificed brute force and endurance in exchange for perfect acceleration. Its light body makes it vulnerable to larger competitors on the plain. After an intense pursuit, it must stop to catch its breath. It is exactly at that moment when the true thieves of the savannah appear to steal its food. Lions and hyenas depend on cooperation to increase their chances of success. The cheetah, in contrast, faces the plain alone most of the time. Faced with the pursuer, the impala mother also does not abandon her offspring. Her body is placed between the threat and the little one, gaining precious seconds for the young one to return to the group. When the offspring is safe, the cheetah understands that the opportunity has vanished. Continuing to pursue can mean overheating or physical collapse. The swift hunter represents individual perfection in a world built on alliances. Among the lion, the cheetah, and the hyena, which of these animals left the strongest impression on you? Instead of facing death head-on, many mothers choose to disappear. In the savannah, hiding is an ancestral intelligence that transforms dust and shadows into invisible walls. The offspring crouches and blends with the color of the dry earth. Absolute silence becomes its only shield against the eyes of the hunters. The warthog masters this sombre art against prides of lions. The mother turns her offspring into hidden figures while the hunters advance without haste. When the distance is minimal, the pursuit explodes with force. The lions reach 80 kilometers per hour, while the warthog runs at nearly 50 kilometers per hour. The mother's tail rises as a signal to guide her offspring through the vegetation. Finally, the family disappears inside an abandoned burrow 3 meters deep. The lions do not back down and attempt to remove the hardened earth with their powerful muscles. However, digging demands much more energy than pursuing, and exhaustion begins to overcome them. Inside the burrow, life resists while hunger waits outside. Once again, nature reveals that sometimes the one who knows how to disappear survives. Without a deep burrow like that of the warthog, the gazelle fawn must rely on a delicate defense, becoming invisible in the open field. In the vastness of the savannah, where there are almost no shadows, its only fortress is its own body. Its yellowish-brown fur blends with the dry vegetation thanks to the phenomenon known as cryptic coloration. From a distance, the little one stops looking like an animal. It is transformed into part of the landscape. Its scent glands, still not very active, reduce the signals left in the air. Its low heart rate keeps the body almost as motionless as a silent stone against the plain. Not far from there, the cheetah watches with its panoramic vision, capable of detecting minimal movements at great distances. For all the fragile beings of the savannah, its eyes are an almost supernatural threat. The fawn holds its breath. It surrenders its permanence to absolute silence, suspended on the limit between safety and death. Then, the mother enters the scene. To save the little one, she uses a distraction strategy by becoming a moving target. She seeks to awaken the cheetah's pursuit instinct. The mother offers her own body to the risk to divert attention from the hidden offspring. The race begins under a relentless sun. The mother gazelle accelerates with endurance to break the pursuer's rhythm. The cheetah, although fast to an explosion, cannot sustain that speed for long. Heat invades its body. It must stop to catch its breath. In that instant, evolution wins through subtlety. The offspring remains hidden while the mother remains alive. The savannah reveals another of its secrets. Sometimes, the greatest defense is not to flee, but to disappear before the eyes of death. After many failed attempts, wounded pride awakens something dangerous in the lion pride. Hunger continues to grow. The instinct for dominance pushes them to challenge the giants of the savannah. On the horizon, African elephants appear like living fortresses of up to 6,000 kilograms. Their mere presence seems to make the earth tremble. A healthy adult is almost inaccessible even for the largest predators of the plain. But between those colossal walls, a vulnerable point exists: the calves. The lions wait for night to fall. In the dark, the elephant's vision becomes more limited with the chaos. Using their numbers with coordination, they take turns pressing and wearing down the mother elephant. It is not brute force, it is calculated patience. A battle of attrition occurs where every second brings the hunters closer to a possible victory. In the savannah, even giants can bleed when time favors the enemy. Among the elephant's maternal protection, the unity of the wildebeests, and the endurance of the gazelles. Which behavior impressed you more? Share your opinion in the comments. While the lions concentrate their energy on that colossal confrontation, another danger advances in silence. The lion cubs are left in one of the most vulnerable conditions of the entire wild chain. Then the Cape buffalo appears. Like a dark wall advancing through the red dust, the herd invades the lion's territory. They possess a brutal purpose: to stop the threat before it grows. It is not about emotional revenge. It is a cold calculation of survival. Eliminating a lion cub today can mean saving hundreds of buffalo calves in the future. Every predator that does not get to grow represents fewer deaths for the next generation of the herd. The balance of the savannah is not born of mercy. It is molded with fear, strategy, and the constant need to prevent the enemy from strengthening its lineage. Here, even the young carry the weight of an ancient war that never really ends. Life defends itself by attacking the future of the rival. What greets the lioness upon her return is not triumph, but a silence as deep and heavy as mourning. In the territory that once protected her cubs, only marks on the earth and traces of an impossible-to-ignore absence remain. The lioness understands the tragedy, and instinct is transformed into fury. Her roar crosses the plain and seems to move the ground itself, launching a declaration of defiance against the receding group of Cape buffaloes. But in the savannah, emotion rarely defeats structure. Guided by an ancient order, the buffaloes reorganize into a phalanx formation. Faced with the lions, a living barrier of pointed horns rises like a forest of swords oriented against any advance. The males remain on the front line, protecting the females and the young. They use a wall of muscle, bone, and collective decision. That fortress advances without hesitation, and each step pushes the threat back. The lion's claws lose value against a defense that offers no gaps. With skin up to 2 centimeters thick and skulls rigid as stone, the buffaloes turn the attack into a mortal risk. The lions, accustomed to imposing fear, are now forced to retreat into their own territory. Pride crumbles before the organized strength of the herd. The frustrated response leaves a cruel lesson engraved in the dust. Even supreme power has limits, and in the wild kingdom, no one dominates forever. Whoever occupies the top today can also be toppled tomorrow. The balance of power is always volatile under the African sun. Among the dense reeds and murky waters, the mother hippopotamus chooses to give birth within the liquid world. There, protected from the scorching heat and hidden from her adversaries, she initiates her first race for life. As soon as the offspring leaves the mother's body, the struggle begins. It must immediately rise to the surface so that its lungs can receive their first complete breath. That instant decides everything. The life of the small hippopotamus begins between water pressure, instinct, and the urgency of breathing. But the greatest danger does not always come from lions. Often, the somberest threat arises within its own species from the dominant males. The males may attack the calves to re-establish the reproductive cycle of the females. Therefore, the mother hippopotamus moves away from the group to create a zone of protected territory. Her maternal instinct transforms this giant into a living wall of determination. Her tusks, up to 50 centimeters long, remain ready to face any intruder. If a crocodile approaches the calf too closely, the response can be immediate and brutal. The mother hippopotamus can pursue, bite, and crush the enemy as a form of savage punishment. The mother makes it clear that that territory does not belong to reptiles. Nutrient-rich milk sustains the accelerated growth of the calf, which weighs nearly 50 kilograms at birth. In the water, it learns to submerge and follow its mother. On land, it remains protected by powerful muscles and thick layers of skin under the female's shadow. Despite their aggressive appearance, hippopotamuses are herbivores. At night, they leave the water and walk along ancient trails to graze, consuming large quantities of grass. Under the darkness, these giants can cross paths with lions and rhinoceroses. Sometimes they seem to provoke them with threatening yawns and heavy movements. They test the limits of the other owners of the savannah, but the hippopotamus does not only protect its lineage, it also shapes the nature around it. By walking between rivers, it opens channels in the vegetation and creates paths used by other species. It transports essential nutrients between land and water. Its excrement feeds microorganisms and sustains entire ecological chains. Thus, this giant also becomes a silent engineer of the ecosystem. It modifies rivers, fertilizes waters, and maintains the balance of many invisible organisms. Therefore, the care of the mother hippopotamus is much more than protection. It is the defense of a life that will help sustain the rhythm of the savannah. Under the murky surface, each breath is a promise of continuity. The rigor of reproductive strategies does not depend on the animal's size. The meerkat demonstrates this impressively with its society organized through severe discipline. In this group, The privilege of motherhood almost always belongs to the alpha female. She controls the rhythm of the entire troop and limits the reproduction of other females. Anyone who attempts to break that order can be expelled from the group. This leaves her exposed to extreme heat, hunger, and desert predators. The other females sacrifice part of their instincts to serve the leader's lineage. They watch, feed, and defend the offspring as if they were their own. This obedience allows the group to function as a single survival machine. The training of the young also follows a very precise discipline. Adults teach capture techniques by first bringing less dangerous prey. Later, they deliver scorpions with the venomous part removed so the offspring can practice without risk. In the tops of the thorny acacias, another type of wild school rises. The secretary bird builds an immense nest up to 2.5 meters wide. The nest is a suspended fortress for raising future hunters of the open fields. There, maternal care is not passive, but teaches many techniques. Lizards and snakes become living lessons for the young. The nest functions as a training arena to prepare them for life on the ground. The secretary bird's most extraordinary weapon is in its powerful legs. Its strikes can reach a force several times greater than its own body weight. It performs rapid movements capable of immobilizing snakes before the venom is a threat. For the chicks, learning that precision is a matter of survival. When they leave the nest, they become terrestrial specialists who walk through the savannas. They search for reptiles and insects, demonstrating that protecting the next generation is about preparing them to face the future. The hornbill family survives, thanks to one of the most impressive parental strategies. In high tree cavities, they build a refuge of extreme protection for the next generation. The mother accepts an almost absolute voluntary isolation after entering the cavity. She seals the opening with mud and plant remains, leaving only a narrow slit. The nest becomes a closed fortress against snakes, monkeys, and birds of prey. Within that space, the female temporarily loses her ability to fly. All her energy is dedicated to the eggs and the chicks. She sacrifices freedom and self-defense to keep her lineage protected. But that protection depends on total trust in the male. Outside, the father carries alone the weight of family continuation. Every day, he performs innumerable trips carrying fruits and insects through the small opening. If the father does not return, the fortress can become a prison. When the chicks grow, the mother breaks the wall that separated her from the world. She emerges weakened, but her dedication has left a new generation ready for life. In contrast, the cuckoo reveals a much darker face of motherhood. It is a specialist in deception, timing, and infiltration into the nests of other species. The female cuckoo does not build a nest, but rather watches other birds to act. Her eggs mimic the colors of the host species to deceive the foster parents. When the young cuckoo is born, it often emerges before the legitimate chicks. Newly arrived in the world, it already carries the ruthless instinct to seize resources. With its back, it pushes eggs and other chicks out to eliminate competitors. The foreign refuge then becomes an occupied territory. The foster parents continue to feed it without perceiving the substitution. The cuckoo grows rapidly until it reaches a size larger than its caregivers. It continues to demand food restlessly through intense sound signals. Nature shows two extremes, molded by the need to maintain life. The ostrich possesses one of the most elaborate reproductive tactics on the African plains. Its communal nest can gather dozens of eggs, forming a true collective bet for life. Behind this organization exists a hard, calculated, and deeply strategic logic. The primary female coordinates the nest and allows other females to deposit their eggs in the same place. However, she places her own eggs in the center, where safety is greatest. She leaves many eggs from the other females on the outer edges. When predators approach, the first eggs reached are usually those on the periphery. The dominant lineage always occupies the safest point of the structure. When the offspring are threatened, the mother ostrich resorts to the broken wing performance. She moves away from the little ones, pretending to have difficulty moving. This physical lie is created to deceive the predator's hunger. It is a survival theater that allows the ostrich to increase its chances in a difficult territory. But the savanna grants no pause to newborns. While the eggs are opening, the great migration begins to move the horizon. It is a colossal crossing of nearly 3,000 kilometers, marked by thirst and dust. More than 2 million animals follow the ancient cycle of searching for food. Wildebeests, zebras, and gazelles advance like a living current over the cracked earth. For newborns, there is no rest or time to learn slowly. To be born already means to walk, and to walk already means to struggle. The Mara River represents a frontier of risk where currents and crocodiles turn the crossing into a trial. The plains zebra acts as one of the great explorers of the savanna. Its strength lies in geographical memory and the ability to read environmental signals. The stallion assumes the role of leader and coordinates the group's movement. Around him, females and offspring form a unit where survival depends on collective stability. The zebra foal must stand up in about 15 minutes. Within an hour, it must already be able to gallop so as not to be left behind. Its striped coat functions as an optical weapon known as motion dazzle. The moving stripes confuse predators' perception during the chase. The group becomes a shimmering flow of lines and speed for the lions. This makes it difficult to identify a single individual in the middle of the crowd. the most delicate risk can arise within the social structure itself. A new male may attempt to take control of the group and attack the descendants of the former leader. The mother zebra must choose between resisting the new power or accepting leadership to remain in the migration. Meanwhile, the foal remains protected in the center of the formation. The adults surround the little one, reducing its exposure during the march. Surviving depends on staying within the order of the group in the face of death's eyes. Under the leadership of the zebras, the white-bearded wildebeests initiate one of the grandest movements of the African savanna. In the distance, the plain seems to take on a life of its own, covered by thousands of marching bodies. The suspended dust and calls resonate like ancient thunder. The wildebeest strategy is known as swamping strategy, flooding the environment with an immense number of individuals. Nearly 500,000 calves can be born during the same season. Approximately 80% of them come into the world in just 3 weeks. This excess of life exceeds the hunting capacity of lions and hyenas. The wildebeest calf is born prepared for the urgency of the plain. It is one of the fastest newborns in the savannah. It is capable of running faster than a human being just a few minutes after birth. Without burrows or hiding places, its only safety is to stay glued to its mother in the open field. That bond is reinforced through imprinting. This mechanism forces the little one to follow closely the large moving figure in front of it. An error in direction can mean losing the mother among thousands of similar bodies. In the migration, losing the mother almost always means losing one's life. When the group reaches the Mara River, the journey enters its darkest moment. This is the true gauntlet of death, a pass where nature tests every muscle. Rapid waters and hidden crocodiles turn the crossing into a brutal trial. Many young ones are swept away by the current or trapped between moving bodies, but the herd cannot stop in the face of danger. In the logic of migration, hesitating increases the risk. Advancing is the only rule to survive. The young ones that manage to overcome the river carry the strength of a lineage molded by dust, water, and fear. Each calf that reaches the other sure keeps the great migration alive. Between the living columns of migrating wildebeests, the eland appears as a monumental presence. Africa's largest antelope seems to carry the ancient weight of the savannah in its body. An adult male can approach a ton. He gathers enough muscular strength to ward off even a determined lioness in mid-attack. But the greatness of the eland is not only in its size. Its protection strategy is born from collective discipline. The offspring are grouped in natural nurseries, gathered in large sets and watched by selected adults. Meanwhile, the mothers can move away in search of richer foods. These nutrients are essential to sustain the production of an extraordinarily rich milk. Eland milk possesses high levels of fat and protein, far superior to those of bovine milk. This resource accelerates the growth of the offspring and strengthens their bodies for the challenges of the plain. Each young one protected in the center represents a future wall of muscles. Approaching a group of elands is facing an organized fortress. When the defensive circle forms, the pointed horns are oriented outward. They create a living barrier around the new generation. Their ability to jump nearly 2.5 meters demonstrates a vigor that commands respect. The eland teaches that size offers an advantage, but discipline transforms strength into security. Meanwhile, the topi reveals another path toward continuity. Smaller than the eland, but extremely fast, it turns the open grassland into a genetic arena known as a lek. There, each male occupies an elevated point on termite mounds. They exhibit strength, posture, and territorial dominance before their rivals. The confrontations between males define who will occupy the most desired central positions. Only the victors manage to attract females and generate offspring. This guarantees that the next generation carries the lineage of the fittest. The topi offspring is born as a result of that intense selection. It inherits speed, endurance, and an immediate preparation to react. During its first days, it can remain hidden with its fur blended with the dust and dry vegetation. But when it stands up to follow its mother, it reveals its true destiny. The topi is a long-distance athlete of the savanna. Unlike the cheetah, it bets on endurance, maintaining a high pace until exhausting the pursuer. Its life is a sequence of trials where the slowest lose their place. In this kingdom, continuity is conquered through total excellence. Away from hoofed animals, in dark crevices between rocks, the African rock python performs an impressive maternal mission. This giant of nearly 6 meters is not just a silent shadow of the savanna. It is an ancestral presence capable of commanding respect from predators and even humans. Unlike many reptiles that abandon their eggs, the mother python remains to protect them. After depositing nearly 100 eggs, she coils her body around the nest like a living wall. There, her strength stops serving for hunting and moves to protecting the next generation. Even though it is a cold-blooded animal, the African rock python can generate heat through continuous muscular contractions. This biological warming keeps the eggs in more stable conditions against environmental variations. But the price is high. For weeks, the mother remains almost motionless without feeding, consuming her own reserves until her body is marked by the effort. Even so, her eyes remain attentive to any external threat. Any monitor lizard or opportunist that approaches finds a silent but extremely brutal defense. The pressure of her body can crush and immobilize invaders before they reach the nest. When the eggs finally open, small pythons of 60 centimeters emerge carrying the ancient instincts of their lineage. From that moment, maternal protection comes to an end. The young disperse among the vegetation and begin an independent life from a very early age. They will grow as ambush predators, occupying an important role in the balance of the ecosystem. In the heights, another type of motherhood dominates the African sky. The martial eagle reigns alone, with a wingspan capable of covering the light like a shadow of judgment. Considered the largest eagle in Africa, it possesses powerful claws and impressive strength. Its vision is capable of turning the distant ground into a map of opportunities. The reproductive strategy of this pair is the opposite of abundance. Instead of many descendants, they invest everything in almost a single heir. Often they lay only one egg at long intervals, turning each birth into a rare event. During the first months, the father provides fresh food continuously. The mother, like a vigilant queen at the top of the nest, patiently feeds her only descendant. Nothing can be wasted because all the family's energy is concentrated on that young one of the skies. The learning period is long and demanding. For many months, the young eagle must master its wings and understand hot air currents. It must learn to transform altitude into absolute precision. A dive from the heights is calculation, strength, and control. Every mistake can mean hunger or even death. Therefore, the martial eagle defends its territory with absolute vigor. Any visitor who gets too close to the nest is treated as a threat. In the African rock python, motherhood is heat and bodily sacrifice. In the martial eagle, it is rare investment and territory dominance. The true victor of the Great Migration is not always the hunter that brings down the prey. Often, it is those who wait with ancestral patience. High in the air currents, the vulture watches the plane without participating in the race. It only follows from the sky, the inevitable end of the journey of other beings. These birds build aerial colonies in ancient acacias, far from the danger of the ground. The young vulture soon learns that the death of one individual sustains the life of another. Its digestive system, extremely acidic, allows it to process remains that would be dangerous for other animals. Thus, vultures eliminate decomposing organic matter. They help clean the savanna after the great dramas of migration. Each day, the parents travel enormous distances as silent sentinels. For the young, the greatest lesson is not speed, but patience. They must learn to wait their turn in the invisible order of eating. The existence of vultures depends on the transition of other beings. The end of one life becomes material for another, and the vulture is the guardian of this cycle. While some seek safety in numbers, the great solitary hunters choose another path. In the rigorous savannah, solitude is one of the highest forms of strategy. He who lives alone does not share risks and expects help from no one. The leopard represents this art with absolute perfection. It moves like a shadow among shadows without announcing its presence. Its strength is in precision, patience, and the ability to disappear. For the female, raising cubs alone is a mission of extreme complexity. During gestation, she transforms crevices or hollow logs into hidden fortresses. Leopard cubs are born blind, fragile, and totally dependent. In the early days, the mother remains almost always in the refuge to protect them. But hunger soon forces her to leave to search for food. Every absence opens a dangerous window into the fate of the little ones. Many young leopards do not complete the first year of life. To reduce risks, the mother constantly moves her cub's hiding place. Over time, she teaches them the vertical refuge technique. The leopard can drag heavy prey to the top of trees, far from the lions. There, the young discover that the tree is a storehouse and a secure territory. It learns to master the patience of ambush tactics to act with absolute precision. Around 18 months, the maternal bond begins to close. The mother moves away firmly, pushing the young one toward independence. The final lesson is hard but necessary. Either it learns to hunt alone, or its journey ends in the silence of its own solitude. The honey badger builds its permanence on almost legendary determination. Small compared to the great predators of the savannah, it survives not by size, but by its extreme bravery. Its physical endurance, combined with its absolute refusal to submit, define it in the face of danger. The mother honey badger possesses the mentality of a true combatant. For her, the first response to risk is rarely flight. Direct confrontation is her primary instinct. Even when the offspring is born fragile, its lineage already carries signs of profound resistance. It possesses a remarkable tolerance to toxins, with a capacity to endure serious wounds. From early on, the mother teaches that surviving demands more than pure instinct. She teaches how to dig rapidly and recognize signs of dangerous snakes or scorpions. She teaches how to attack before the enemy can fully use its chemical defense. Each encounter becomes a direct lesson on the savannah battlefield. If it receives venom, the honey badger's organism can enter a state of temporary rest. It reduces its activity until overcoming the effect of the deadly toxin. Its thick, loose, and flexible skin also makes it difficult for large carnivores to grip it securely. When facing much larger opponents, the mother emits intense sounds. She raises her body and advances with fierce and uncontrollable energy. Often, that posture is enough to transform the predator's doubt into an immediate retreat. In the savannah, few want to waste energy facing an animal that seems to know no fear. The young badger grows up learning that bravery can compensate for the lack of physical size. In the swamps with tall grass fields, the serval reveals a different form of excellence. It does not dominate by brutality, but by absolute precision. Its elegant body with long limbs functions as a set of living sensors. Its wide ears are created to detect the slightest noise hidden under the vegetation. The mother serval keeps her offspring hidden in dense areas, far from larger predators. There begins a silent training where the little ones learn that every sound has direction and meaning. Unlike lions, the serval hunts small prey with extraordinary technical efficiency. Its technique, known as death from above, transforms the jump into a lethal weapon. It locates prey with hearing, raises its body up to nearly 3 meters, and descends like a vertical shadow. The offspring train in the tall grass where eyes help little. Hearing becomes the primary guide for the final attack. Upon landing, the front limbs stabilize the prey with great firmness. Every movement must be exact because the smallest failure allows the target to disappear. The serval also lives under the constant threat of large eagles. Around 6 months, the young already possess much of the technique necessary to hunt alone. Independence is not a choice, but an inevitable destiny. The honey badger teaches frontal bravery, while the serval teaches silent precision. Both master their own way of surviving in the wild kingdom. If the Serengeti were a gigantic body, the wildebeest would be the warm blood that runs through its veins. It is not just one more species in migration, but the engine that regulates the entire ecosystem. With a population of nearly 1.5 million individuals, they form one of the largest animal masses in movement. Seen from the sky, they look like a dark river winding over the golden ocean of grass. Their first role is to act as biological mowers of the savanna. With their wide muzzles, they trim the lowest layers of young grass, preventing uncontrolled growth. By grazing on a large scale, they stimulate regrowth and keep the food base of many species active. Then they return to the earth what they took through natural fertilization. Their feces disperse nutrients through the soil, feeding microorganisms and insects. Without the wildebeests, the grass could grow excessively and dangerously increase the risk of fire. Their true greatness is in collectivity without a single visible commander. The herd moves by subtle signals like the smell of rain or humidity in the wind. The minerals in the young grass along with repeated movements, guide thousands of bodies. What seems like chaos is actually a superorganism in coordinated action. When one individual changes direction, the others perceive it immediately. This collective intelligence reduces individual risk and confuses predators. The culmination of this strategy is synchronized reproduction on the southern plains. During a short period, hundreds of thousands of calves are born almost at the same time. This predator saturation tactic ensures that carnivores cannot capture them all. Many calves survive simply because they were born among an immense crowd. These newborns are prodigies of biological urgency. A few minutes after being born, they already attempt to stand up to keep up with the march of life. The wildebeests feed the predators and keep the savanna in constant motion. Without them, the Serengeti would lose its heart and the plain would stop breathing. But an even greater threat than lions or hyenas exists. It is an invisible enemy that does not roar, but silently alters the entire balance of the savanna: climate change. For millions of years, the Serengeti functioned as an almost perfect mechanism. The rains arrived at the expected time, and the Great Migration followed the ancestral rhythm of the wildebeests and zebras. Today, however, that natural clock is starting to fail seriously. The seasons have become unpredictable, with rains that arrive too late, or violent storms. These storms flood nests, wash away offspring, and destroy entire breeding zones. The increase in temperature intensifies evaporation and dries the vital lagoons of the ecosystem. This reduces water sources and forces animals to travel increasingly greater distances. The wildebeests feel it first, because if the grass does not grow in time, the migration loses synchrony. Offspring are born in inadequate periods, and hunger increases on the plains. Predators become even more aggressive in the face of the scarcity of food for their prides. The heart of the Serengeti begins to beat out of its habitual rhythm of life. Hippopotamuses face lower rivers and stagnant waters that can be contaminated. Elephants must dispute smaller territories due to environmental pressure. Vultures disappear after consuming carcasses poisoned by human activities in the region. The black rhinoceros continues to fight against illegal hunting fueled by the horn trade. Roads and human settlements fragment the ancient migratory routes of the species. Trails used for thousands of generations are interrupted by artificial barriers. The sound of engines gradually replaces the deep silence of the plains. Lights cut the darkness that guided nocturnal hunters for centuries. When a single piece disappears, the entire biological system feels the immediate impact. Without the wildebeests, the grass grows excessively and dangerously increases the risk of fire. Without the vultures, diseases can spread rapidly through the land. The Serengeti is not formed by isolated species, but by a living network. Protected areas and the fight against illegal hunting are essential tools today. Park park rangers risk their own lives to protect rhinoceroses and elephants. Scientists follow rain patterns and drastic changes in vegetation. Local communities participate increasingly in ecotourism and conservation projects. Each restoration project represents an attempt to correct damage caused previously. Humanity can choose to protect what it one day threatened to destroy forever. Perhaps the true question is whether humans will have enough wisdom. We must protect this wild spectacle before silence dominates the African plain. If the Serengeti stops beating, not just one ecosystem will disappear. An ancient part of the planet's wild soul will disappear along with it. The fate of this land is in our hands for future generations.